So for this little project, we will need a size G crochet hook, some medium weight yarns. I'm using an ivory and a pretty pine green. And this is a great project if you have just little yarn balls from leftover projects, because it's a great little scrap buster. You only need a little bit of each color. So, but you do want 2 colors. I mean, you could make them with multicolored yarn and just use one if you wanted to, or you can make them a solid color, whatever you like. But you could also make them with, like, you know, 4 different colors or 8 different colors, but I'm gonna do just 2. So we've got our size G, our medium weight yarn, a little pair of scissors, a yarn needle for weaving in our ends, and then I used these little clear ornaments from the Dollar Tree. These are the crafter square ones that you can buy to put little fun things inside. But of course, we are not going to put things inside. We are going to cover it with crochet. But the cool thing about this project, though, is that you don't really have to go out and buy these. If you wanted to, you could just get, you know, like some of your old ornaments that maybe you don't like the color of them, and you could just crochet right over them. But if you do go and get these at the Dollar Tree, I mean, it's, wow, $1 for 2 of them, and then you just use whatever scrap yarn you have. That's amazing, right? Like, you can make a really pretty little gift for just 50 cents if you already have the yarn. And I'm sorry, I don't know what size these are. Let's see here. Give me a sec. So they are about almost 3 inches. So a little 3-inch across ball, so in case you're wondering, so that you can get the right dimensions. All right, let's get started. So scoot these out of the way. So I'm going to start off with whichever color first. I think I'll start with my ivory. So I'm going to make a little slip knot, and then I'm going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'm going to slip stitch into my first chain to form a ring. So I got a little ring going on here. Now I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then double crochet down into the ring. Oh. And now I'm just going to chain 1 and do 2 double crochets. 1 and 2, and then chain 1. And I'm going to repeat that 2 double crochets, chain 1 4 more times so that I have 6 little clusters. So 2 double crochets, there's a 1 and a 2, chain 1 and a 1 and a 2, chain 1. And I'm crocheting over my tail end to kind of cover it up, and then we'll cut it when we get to the end here. Chain 1, let's see, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little clusters. Okay, so 1 more. Here's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, chain 1, and now I'm going to slip stitch onto the top of my very first little chain 3 that counts as my first double crochet. 1 little slip stitch, and now I'm going to cut my yarn and pull my loop out because we're going to change to our next color. I'm going to snip my end piece too because I've crocheted on top of it enough. It looks like nice and secure. All right, so now I'm going to weave this little end piece that I cut just through the top of the next double crochet and then bring it over to my chain one space. That way when I connect my next color, I'll be double crocheting on top of it to cover it up. So to grab my next color, I'm just going to grab it, just drape it over my hook and just pull up a little loop. Now grab the working end of it. I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and in the same space and going over the ends of my yarn, I'm going to do double crochet, then chain 1, and then 2 double crochets, all in that same chain 1 space. So here's 2 double crochets. And now I'm going to chain 1, and in the next 1 chain space, I'm just going to do 2 double crochets. Oops, got my end there, there we go, 2 double crochets. There's a 1 and a 2 and a chain 1. All right, so now I've got this first little chain 3 counts as a double crochet. So I've got 2 double crochet, chain 1, and 2 double crochets, and then a chain 1, and the next one I've just got 2 double crochets. So we're going to repeat that around. So I'm in the next little 1 chain space here, I'm going to do 2 double crochets, and then chain 1 and 2 double crochets, and that's all in that same little chain space. Then I'm going to chain 1, and in the next space just do 2 double crochets. And then chain 1 in the next space, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. Little yarn ball. I need one of those little bowls that you put your yarn in so it stays in place. I actually have one. I should use it. It's just holding some notions instead of helping me out right now. All right, and in the very last chain 1 space, we're just going to do our 2 double crochets and chain 1. There we go. And then we'll slip stitch into the top of our chain 3 space right here. And then I'm just going to snip this yarn, pull out my loop, and I'm going to trim my ends from the ones that I was crocheting on top of at the beginning of this row because they have been crocheted on top of and they are nice and secure. All right, now we are moving on. I'm going to take this little end again and just weave it through the top of my next double crochet to bring it over to this next chain 1 space again so that I can start by crocheting on top of it again. So for row 3, we are going to connect our other color just like this. Just drape it over and pull it on through. And now I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And now in this same space, I'm going to do a double crochet. And then I'm going to chain 1. Now, in my next chain 1 space, I'm going to do 2 double crochets and chain 1. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, chain 1, and then in the next one, same exact thing. 2 double crochets and chain 1. Next space, 2 double crochets, chain 1, and just repeat that all the way around until you get back to your first little chain 3, and then we'll slip stitch into the top of it. So this little ornament is so fun to make because you can seriously just get out all those little tiny balls of yarn that you don't know what to do with. This is such a cute little project. I think it would be really fun too if you just did every row in a different color Could be Christmas colors or whatever the color is that you decorate your house with. Like maybe you have a theme color every year. All right, so I'm doing my last double crochet. I'm just gonna chain one and then we'll be doing our little slip stitch into the top of that very first chain 3 right here. There we go. And now you can see it's kind of forming itself into a little ball, kind of closing up and cupping in there, just perfect. Now I'm going to cut the end that I've already crocheted on top of, and cut this also because we are finished with this color. Now we are on row 4. So row 4, well, I'm gonna weave this little end through this next double crochet to bring it over to my chain 1 space. Now final row, yay! I'm just going to put my hook into that chain 1 space and grab my next color. And I'm just going to chain 3 once again. 1, 2, 3. Now in the same space, I'm going to do 2 double crochets. So here's 1 and 2, and then chain 1. And then in the next space, I'm going to do 3 double crochets. Here's 1, 2, and 3, and then chain 1, and then 3 double crochets. And I'm just going to continue that around. So I've only made these with the clear balls inside, but it might be really pretty if you got like red or green balls and then used like a contrasting color of yarn, like maybe use a green yarn on a red ball or white on a red ball. I don't know, that'd probably be amazing. You could do so many fun things. You could even do black on white or white on black or gray to do kind of that farmhouse look. Or if you did it in a solid color with like a different colored little bow on top, that'd be so beautiful too. So many fun ideas, right? So now we're almost to our end here. We've got a couple more little double crochets to go. Here's my last one. So I'm going to do my 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and I'm going to slip stitch onto the top of my very first chain 3 right here. Just like that. And now I can cut my end because we are finished. Now we need to make one more exactly like this so that we can sew them together. First, I'm just going to cut my ends here. And then I am going to make one more half.
Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo.
And now I'm on my very last cluster of 3 on row 4. And I'm just going to do my chain 1 slip stitch into the top of my chain 3 right here. And then I can cut my yarn because I'm all finished. And now we get to sew our little halves together. So, but actually we're not going to sew them, we're going to crochet them together. You could sew them if you want to, but I'm going to take my last little bit of yarn and instead of running it through that next double crochet, I'm going to bring it down through the back and run it through the bottom of the double crochets that I just made. Because I'm going to be crocheting through the tops of these double crochets up here, so I don't want an extra piece of yarn in there. That would be weird. Might confuse me. All right, and then through this one also, let's just run that down through the bottom and back of these little double crochets here, just to get rid of that end so that it's secured but not in the way. There we go. All right, but you can weave in your ends however you like. Now, let's get started with sewing these together. So the way I did it was by slip stitching through the back loops of both sides, and it makes this pretty kind of a little braid around it. I used a contrasting color too because I think it looks pretty, and also it's easy for you guys to see. But you can absolutely use the same color if you just want it to be solid on the side. So to start out, I'm going to get my two little balls together here, and let's see, where's my starting point? I weaved it in so well I can't even see. Okay, there we go. And my starting point. Okay, it doesn't actually matter, but I like to have the starting points where my chain 3 and the beginning is at the top, just so it's kind of covered by a bow and stuff. I mean, really you don't see it anyway, so it's not that big of a deal, but sometimes I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. Okay, so I'm going to start with the, let's see, it is the very first double crochet I made, so next to my chain 3, but you can start anywhere you like. And what we're going to do is go back loop to back loop. Does that make sense? So I've gone through, if we're looking at the double crochet here, you can see there's 2 loops. I'm just grabbing the back loop. And then over on the other side, I'm also, there's the 2 loops on top. I'm just going through the back loop. And then I'm going to grab whatever pretty color I'm using, and I'm just going to pull it on through. And then I'm going to go into the next little double crochet, back loop to back loop, and just yarn over and pull it on through. And then the next one is that chain 1 space, so back loop to back loop, yarn over and pull it on through. Oh, sorry, this is a weird hand angle for me to try to hold it under the camera. All right, I'm gonna pull the end too so it stays kind of tight, and we'll weave that in at the end. But all right, so we're starting to go through with our little pretty edging. You'll see it in a minute, like it's hard to see at first. Okay, now we're into the next double crochet. So, oops, this side first, back loop to back loop, yarn over and pull it through all of your loops. And then back loop to back loop, yarn over and pull it through all of your loops. All right, now can you start seeing the pretty pattern? There we go. All right, now back loop to back loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. All right, so you're just gonna continue that around until you're, about halfway around your ball. And then, of course, we have to put our ornament inside. So keep on going until you're about a little more than halfway. And then we will put our ornament inside and then keep on going.
Shepherds, why this jubilee? Why your joyous strains prolong? What the gladsome tidings be, which inspire your helpless song? Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria.
All right, and I'm a halfway. I probably could put my little ornament in now. So let's go ahead and grab one and toss it on in there and see how it fits. Oh, perfect. Very good. All right, so we're just gonna push the top of the ornament up nice and snug against our first little starting bit of chain there. And then I'm just gonna keep on going. So now it gets a tiny bit trickier once the ornament is in there, but I'm gonna set it down. You still just find your little back loop. So back loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. And then back loop, back loop, oops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And when you're getting close to the end here, you're just gonna keep going until you're nice and snugged up against the little hangy part of the ornament. So I think I can do about a couple more stitches. Let's see, back loop to back loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Let's see, can I do one more? I'm gonna do one more. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Okay. Now we can pull our yarn out, snip it, pull this loop through. Now with this, you can just kind of weave it in however you like to weave in your ends. I'm going to bring it down and bring it through the nearest couple of double crochets right there. And then I can snip it. And then same thing with the other side. Let's just bring it, let's see, we'll bring it down through here and through those double crochets right there. There we go. Right here. There, and now we can snip that. Now we get to finish off our little ornament. So I think it's kind of cute to cut this little piece of string off, and you can either just grab a piece of your yarn and run it through there so that it actually matches, or you can create a little chain to hang your ornament with. And then you can create another little chain to tie a little bow around it. So let me show you that. So I'm going to make a little chain to hang the ornament with, and it's going to be 20 chains long. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then you can just tie that onto your little ornament. I'm just going to do that with a little square knot. So right over left, left over right. And then you can just cut that. And you've got a cute little chain to hang it on. And then the very last thing I like to add is the little bow. I just think it looks cute to have a cute little bow on top of your ornament. So just grab whatever color you want your little bow to be and make a little slip knot, and then I'm going to chain 50 so that it is long enough to tie into a little bow.
stars of angels praise. Mary, Joseph, lend your aid.
And then we're just gonna tie a cute little bow, just to kind of cover up that silver part and make it look a little prettier. Let's see if I can get a good bow on the first try. Oh, it's not too bad, okay. All right, let me trim my little ends off here. And there we go, our cute little ornament ball.